suis là, je suis arrivée.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of France in Focus. I'm Nadia Sharby.
I'm Tom Burgess-Watson. This week, Nadia and I decided to team up because it is France 24's 10th anniversary. We decided to show you behind the scenes. Let's go inside.
Well, when it launched in December 2006, France 24 was the country's first bilingual foray into international newscasting.
Well, a lot has happened during the course of this past decade. We've since launched a successful channel in the Arabic language. We're now getting ready for Spanish.
Let's take a look at the facts and figures that make France 24 what it is today.
It's December the 6th, 2006, 8:30 p.m. Paris time, and France launches its first multilingual TV network under the motto, Beyond the News. There are 3 channels, in French, English and Arabic. The latter truly takes off in April 2007, first airing 4 hours of content a day, then 10, then finally 24. France 24 quickly makes a name for itself with its coverage of the Arab Spring and is now the #1 news provider in Tunisia, where the democratic uprising began. In 2008, the channel joins forces with sister radio stations Monte Carlo Doualiya and RFI, becoming the leading network throughout French-speaking Africa. Always in sync with global events, 150 foreign correspondents are now your eyes and ears on the ground. And as the outlet expands, so too does its audience. France 24 is now available in 315 million homes across 180 nations. Add to that over 17 million Facebook followers for its award-winning website, and you'll see why this 10th birthday comes with a big thank you to our viewers.
Well, you may recognise this as one of our news sets. Unlike the rest of the channel, our studios have evolved significantly over the past decade.
Well, if you've ever wondered how a news bulletin is put together, this is your chance. We're going to give you this sneak peek now of some of the people and processes involved.
Good morning, it's 7 a.m, time to start.
The hardest thing is definitely the early morning. Sometimes it's at 5 a.m. Not the easiest working hours.
Bye, bye. Now we're going to write. Hey, Victoria.
Attends, je vais regarder comme ça, je vais donner les chiffres. Yeah, I'll begin with it. Okay. I am adding a sort of Cazeneuve. Ouais. Take us all to 15 minutes. Okay?
Yeah. Do we have pictures or no?
The second round of the primaries is
فينك تلاقي هذا الفيديو على سوريا؟
Sarah, ce rapport du ex-Washington, tu vas le prendre quand, toi?
Au programme aujourd'hui, donc c'est l'attente des résultats.
So we're waiting for the final results later on. We need to do something on who Fillon is.
We need to explain it for English-speaking viewers.
So we have Fillon portrait. Right now, it was done by Sarah.
So if you need new pics about Fillon and the right-wing primaries, you can find it in the APTN folder.
here both the spectators and the musicians are convicted criminals.
Ready to go to the gallery. Hello. Hello, Jeannie. Hi. Everything set?
Yeah, all good.
4, 3,
2, 1, stop.
Well, over the years, France 24 has made quite a name for itself in the field of reporting, winning plenty of awards along the way.
And as you can see from the paraphernalia decorating the Reporters Hub, it's been quite a ride.
Well, our team of reporters is going to share with us now some of their most memorable moments on the ground.
It's my lucky cable because transmission is crucial in our jobs, and for the last 10 years I've been using this very cable to send all my stories to France 24.
I always take a scarf, like a headscarf, that you can wear on your neck, that you can use to cover your hair if you need to, that you can use against tear gas. That's a good one you can use to clean up dust.
It's a big Swiss Army knife, very strong. You can use it to eat, you can use it to cut, you can use it just to make stuff happen.
In 2011, interviewing Muammar Gaddafi at the beginning of the Libyan revolution, that was pretty surreal at 1 in the morning. We were in Tripoli in the government-controlled Rixos Hotel, and then of course late one evening we all got a knock on the door. We had to leave instantly. I remember I still had wet hair, my colleagues weren't ready, so we rushed over and we were kept in this palace just off Martyrs Square, Green Square as it was known then, and then waited for hours until around 1 a.m. a pretty spaced out Gaddafi turned up.
When I was in Syria and we were filming, and suddenly we see a truck full of explosives coming directly towards us. I think it was a very intense moment.
Fire! Fire! Shoot that vehicle!
It was in Indonesia on the island of Sumatra with an orangutan. We spent 2 days in the rainforest looking for one. And we finally found one on the last day at the last minute. If we hadn't had that shot of an orangutan, we wouldn't have had a story. I spent 20 minutes chasing after it through the trees, but it finally shook me off by crossing a ravine. For me, seeing this wild, free orangutan was a truly exceptional moment.
The encounter that most marked me was definitely a man whose name is Lagwawi Lojore. He was an old man in a village in northern Kenya. He was basically starving to death, and he had just watched his wife starve to death. And that man took us with the camera to the burying place of his wife and performed a ritual. And I remember that man, I remember his face, I remember his story. And I remember that because for the first time in my career, I cried behind my camera.
Well, I guess that would be some war zone moments. Obviously, there's been some pretty hairy moments. Sheltering under a staircase, again in Libya, with shells exploding just a few metres away. Or I did one live when I could actually hear bullets whistling past my head, which means they're really close. So yeah, war zone moments, pretty scary.
One of the funniest moments was being pursued across the southern Libyan desert in 4x4s by a man from a local tribe who was crazy and had fallen in love with my colleague, who both threatened us of having us killed on the one hand and was sending her love letters at the same time. That was pretty funny.
De l'ouest du pays dans lequel les opérations de désarmement menées par l'armée française.
Well, we're now in the heart of the France 24 newsroom. It's here that our team of journalists is busy preparing news bulletins 24/7.
But of course, France 24 wouldn't be where it is today if it weren't for you, the viewers. In fact, ours was among the first channels to feed your witness accounts into our news coverage with the popular Observers show.
Well, we thought we'd show you now some of the highlights from that programme during the course of these last 10 years.
The first big test for the Observers came in 2009 with the presidential election in Iran. Now, Ahmadinejad kicked out all the foreign media, so the only source of information we had was YouTube videos that were being posted. Now, we already had a network of a couple dozen observers around the country, and they were able to help us verify the videos. They were able to look at the videos and say, yes, I was there, that's what happened. Now, they also were shooting with their own mobile phones, and they sent us their own photos and videos that they had taken themselves, documenting what happened. So that was 2009. Now, the next year, we had the beginning of the Arab Spring. Now, when Mohamed Bouazizi set himself on fire in Tunisia, no one really knew what was happening at first. Now, it just happened that we had an observer who was already in the town of Sidi Bouzid. We'd spoken to him about another story a few months earlier, and he was able to tell us exactly why this young man set himself on fire, exactly what his grievances were, and what was going on in the town. I'm very proud of that because that was the beginning of the Arab Spring, and we were there thanks to our observer. So here's a story from Alexander Mulongo, who is one of our observers in the DRC. Now, he's from Lubumbashi, and he told us that police there were using spike strips, that's those metal things with spikes on them to puncture cars' tires. He said they were using them to intimidate drivers and to encourage them to pay bribes. He sent us photos and videos of the police in action. Now, we published those on our site, we put them in our TV show, and then a week after the TV show aired, the police had stopped using them and they haven't been seen since. Part of our job is to verify amateur images. Now, we see a lot of fake images online, especially to do with migrants coming to Europe. They're posted by far-right groups like this one. Now, this supposedly shows Muslims in Switzerland burning a Swiss flag. Now, it's pretty easy to debunk that, because for one thing, it shows a Danish flag and not a Swiss flag. And for another thing, you use a simple tool like Google Reverse Image Search, and it will show you that this picture was actually taken 10 years ago in Pakistan after a Danish newspaper published cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad.
Well, this is one of our editing suites where people like Ord help polish up the finished product and cut out the bits we'd rather forget.
You're not exactly going to have 10 years of broadcasting without a few mishaps, and we thought we'd leave you with a couple of bloopers. Meanwhile, happy birthday, France 24.
And stay tuned.
It's the last time we're working together. I'll give you a sneak peek now of some of the people and processes.
Perfect, now let's do the crazy one really quickly.
I'm really stressed.
So I'm very excited.
1, 2, 3, and snap.
That's a wrap.